costing £2,500 a month to fund
Private
it.
doctor, right. Okay. Emma, thank you. That's really clear. Dr. Frank D'Ambrosio is an orthopedic surgeon and campaigner for medical cannabis policy reform, practicing mainly in California.
Yes,
is that right?
That's correct.
And is that a story that you've heard other versions of from other mums?
Definitely versions I've heard in the United Kingdom, yes. Yeah. And I don't think there's any better way to tell the story than what Emma's just said. I mean, we have existing a child with seizures you can see. You use these droplets of cannabis oil and they stop. I don't think this is an anecdotal story. You can actually see seizures desist. This is real medicine for real problems.
What is the cannabis doing inside the body that these other drugs aren't doing?
Well, we have in our body a system called the endocannabinoid system. It exists. We make our own cannabinoids every day. It's called anandamide. And when our body goes under stress, we release anandamide into the system. When you have situations like seizure disorders, the system is overwhelmed and our own anandamide cannot control these seizures. By bringing in an external source, the phytocannabinoids, cannabinoids come from a plant, you can help mitigate all of the excessive neural activity in the seizures because you're attaching to an existing system and stimulating a system to heal itself in the body.
Okay. Now, do doctors object to that? Here, there are a lot of doctors who say, "Well, that's all unproven."
Well, I don't know how you can say it's unproven. I don't know if they object or not. I just know the science, and this has been going on now they discovered the endocannabinoid system in 1991, and more research has shown that not only is the endocannabinoid system in our brain, it's in our periphery, and we're finding now that it's in every cell in our body.
Do you think everyone should be on medicinal cannabis?
I think if you have an issue, you should be on medicinal cannabis.
Why is it good for everything? That's what I don't quite understand. It seems to work for everything.
Well, because every cell has a receptor. When we are stressed, when our body is stressed, we try to heal ourselves, and we heal ourselves through the endocannabinoid system. We release in our brain anandamide, but if you don't have enough, or if the strain is too much, you cannot control the extra stress. So bringing in external cannabinoids can help augment what we do internally.
Are we behind the USA on all this?
Well, yes, as far as...
You can say it. We won't be offended, don't worry. You can say
again, I'm a guest.
No, but you don't. Honestly, we're open to all criticism.
I think that this country produces the largest amount of cannabis oil that exports to the world, yet the citizens don't get access to it. So
is that right? But don't we produce the stuff without the THC and the active ingredient, or
it's still cannabis oil, whether it has THC or not? That's cannabis oil. It's the oil coming from the cannabis plant. That's
right,
cannabis.
But it's
oil.
not got the active ingredient, so it doesn't work, does it?
Well, active ingredients, they're all active ingredients. THC just happens to be the psychoactive one. The only reason why THC is psychoactive is because that's the only ingredient that crosses the blood-brain barrier. So if you don't have a small amount of THC, it's difficult to imagine that you're going to be able to adequately treat central nervous system disorders, Parkinson's, seizures, dementia, and that kind of stuff.
Okay. So Emma, what situation are you in now? Because it sounds like you're going to run out of money if you have to keep paying for it.
Yeah, we've got enough money left for one more month.
Oh, so it's that urgent?
It's urgent. I'm fundraising left, right and centre wherever I can.
And then you're in a situation where Tegan goes back to having hundreds of seizures a day.
I can't not let her have this medication. This medication keeps her alive. A lot of people don't realise how serious epilepsy is. Any seizure could kill anybody at any time. And Tegan is high risk of SUDEP, which is sudden death in epilepsy, because she's so uncontrolled at night.
And she's 10 now, isn't she?
She's just turned 10.
It's really interrupting her schooling and everything. Yeah. Is with the doctors, they can write a prescription, but you can't get it on the NHS. Is that right?
I have to get a private prescription.
Okay, so you can't get an NHS doctor to write the prescription and use that prescription to force the NHS?
No, it has to be a private doctor.
I see.
NHS doctors will not prescribe because they won't pay for it.
And where do you then physically get it from in the country? Is there places where you can get it?
There's an importer in Scotland.
An importer, but the doctor here is saying that we make a load of it ourselves anyway.
The importer we don't create full extract cannabis here in the UK. We can only get that abroad. So we have to get the medication Tegan's on from Holland. So we have an importer that goes to Holland to pick up Tegan's medication that's prescribed by a private doctor. He then brings it back into the UK and dispenses it through a pharmacy to me.
Dr. Frank, you're enjoying this?
Well, not at all. I don't want people to go through this. This is horrendous.
It is
These are
very
little children.
circuitous. Yeah.
These are children. What are we doing here?
Well, also, it is lawful now, what Emma's doing. That's the peculiar thing. So, yes, they changed the law, but the problem is you can't get it.
No.
Dr. Frank, what would you recommend here?
Well, I definitely think that there needs to be several companies not only growing cannabis here, create a marketplace, create a cannabis economy, legalize cannabis, decriminalize it, however you have to do it. Create a situation where not only do you have competition so you can drive down the prices, so if you have to go to a private physician, it's not going to cost that much, but also if you drive down the cost, maybe the NHS would see that it's more cost effective and make it more available to the patients.
And you think it works for things like Parkinson's as well?
I know it does.
Really?
I've been seeing patients for 5 years. My practice started as trying to help people overcome opioid addiction. I've managed to in the 5 years I've gotten over 10,000 patients off of opioids onto cannabis, no fear of death, none of this long-term effects that opioids have. I've seen it work for Parkinson's, for seizures, for all kinds of central nervous system disorders, everything.
Right, but we associate it with those street drugs that are very illegal, crack and heroin and so on. That's the problem, isn't it?
If you have a regulated market where you can monitor the plant from seed to sale, and you get rid of the black market, and you don't have to worry about what they're selling on the streets and what they're dosing it with or anything like that, and you control it, you can control the level of THC and everything, you can create safe medicine, you can create affordable medicine.
Thank you, Emma. Thanks so much. We wish Tegan well.
Thank you.
And good luck with getting it sorted in the next month. I hope.
Yeah, if anybody wants to help with fundraising or anything.
Yeah, where do they go to?
To me, to Help for Tegan on any social media page.
Okay, Help for Tegan. And you're going to Downing Street, are you?
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
In the midst of Brexit, I'm going to try to please remind Mr. Johnson that there is still a cannabis issue in this country.
Okay, well, you'll have all the shots of you coming down the street and hopefully meeting him. Thank you very much indeed, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.